What's up, dorks? Episode 3 of Obi-Wan dropped, and Darth Vader has never looked so badass. We're going to get into some spoilers. Dallas, let's just get right into it. I love this episode. No matter what you have to say about the Star Wars flaws, I feel like Darth Vader is just so badass in this episode that you can just forgive everything. We finally have that Obi-Wan and Darth Vader reunion after so much time, and I was surprised that they just jumped straight into it in episode 3. But before we get to that awesome Darth Vaderness, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do have that 1,000 subscriber giveaway for a next gen console. Let's get into the breakdown. Had a hard time for a second with this episode because you have that like Obi-Wan reeling from finding out that Anakin is still alive. He's like got this PTSD knowing that maybe like all his failures are now a living embodiment of the person. And he's probably the only person that knows that how strong Anakin is as a good force wielder. So as a dark side force wielder, how scary something like that must be.
This episode was kind of hit or miss for me. We'll get into the scenes with Vader later, but for me, they saved the episode. A lot of the things that I personally like about Obi-Wan, which is like this sort of quiet cunning and confidence, is missing for a bit too long.
Getting into the scene where they get picked up by the guy when they're hitchhiking, right? You know, Obi-Wan slips up on the barge. Instead of saying Luma, he says Leia. And in my mind, I was like, Obi-Wan would never let something like that slip. I get he's been out of the game for 10 years, dog, but dang.
That felt lazy to me. Oh, yeah, no, I accidentally called her mother's name. This could have been a cool moment in which we could have highlighted how intelligent Obi-Wan is instead of him just being like, And then it's also hard for me to believe they don't know Leia is the name of one of the people that they're looking for. And I just don't think a slip up like that would be forgiven so easily. Could have done a couple cool things. He could have tried the old Jedi mind trick just to see if he still got it. Could have done a lot of things that I think would have just kind of poked it. Obi-Wan to be like, still got it, still out here in the cut. But for him to make such a careless mistake felt a little disingenuous to the character and just a little lazy for me.
Not only do you have Obi-Wan, who should be the most recognizable Jedi, they're on patrol for a Jedi. You're telling me you
Yeah.
see the like one of the most famous surviving Jedi that obviously everyone knows is still alive in the Empire because Darth Vader and the Inquisitors are like hunting this dude down.
That's what I'm saying. He's the one they're looking for.
That should have been a unmissable face reaction there, and then just dropping the word Leia in general should have been like the dead ringer. And I think if you just would have taken that part out and had the checkpoint scene instead, it would have worked the exact same way, I think.
Or I think or I think them just being skeptical in general would have worked just as fine. I don't even think you needed the slip up. I think it's totally plausible for them to be like, something feels off about this dude. I will say, I did enjoy Leia and Obi-Wan bonding over their shared experiences as an orphan. So much is happening between Leia and Obi-Wan.
We get a lot of little small hints that she's going to be able to use the Force later, like, oh, what is the Force? And I love Obi-Wan's description of, when you walk into a dark room, you turn the light on, feels like that. I'm like, wow, what a warm, comforting feeling. What an easy way to describe the feeling of the Force.
Hey, they got some bars in this episode. They got a couple lines, and that was one of them where I'm like, okay.
I agree. The one-liners, especially with Darth Vader, which we'll get into, it's just like, dude, you're talking about some of the most badass little zingers right here, man. You get that moment where it gets a little heart palpitation for a second. He feels a little something. Something might have just landed on the planet. That person being Darth Vader, which this episode intros with Darth Vader's little Iron Man like as suit up scene, just building the hype that you know that when he shows up in this episode, he's got nothing but hatred in his soul.
Oh, dog. Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z playing in the background type of shit while he gets ready, dog. 10 out of 10.
And you know Darth Vader also feels that presence, and the music stops, and he just turns towards the window, and he just starts force choking the family, breaks the son's neck.
And he was doing all of that to bait Obi-Wan out. He's afraid of Darth Vader, which I think is really important. I think there's a part of him that's like, I don't want to face what I feel I'm responsible for. But there's also, to me, very much a part of it where it's like, I'm not strong enough for this. I can only imagine the aura and kind of gravity that he carries around him now as Darth Vader, where it's just years of hate.
I think this episode does a really good job of building on everybody fearing Darth Vader.
By the way, Vader giving third sister highest stake mission all the time. It's like, hey, got some good news, bad news. You do good, you got yourself a promotion. You fuck up, I'm killing you.
Ultimatum version of do or do not. There is no try for Yoda.
Obi-Wan's hesitance to use the lightsaber, even when face to face with Vader, is something that is very interesting to me because it's been evident throughout. There are times in which I feel like, okay, yeah, use the blaster for some things, but there are definitely times in which I felt like he could have used the saber and it would have proved to be more beneficial for him, but he refuses to. He eventually gets out the saber against Darth Vader, but even then, he's more parrying, he's more being defensive. He's not actually trying to win.
You have Darth Vader, and it looks like he's just toying with Obi-Wan, man. He's still just
Yeah.
hitting him with the one hand strikes. It looks like he doesn't even care. Hits him with one of the hardest lines. I am what you made me.
Oh,
What a cold line from Darth Vader, man. What have you
that
become? I have become what you made me.
First of all, I've never seen a dude sound so hard while just blatantly lying. One. Well, like Anakin's fucking victim complex, next level dog. Made every decision in Revenge of the Sith to go wrong. He's just like, what the fuck, Obi-Wan? It's like,
You cut off my limbs, dog. That's your
he's
fault.
like, hey man, that shit wasn't cool, man. I know I killed those kids. I was about to overthrow the whole shit, but a little unnecessary on your part. Now look at me. But he's out for blood. I mean, dragging him through the fire.
There's nothing quite like when he ignites the embers
Mm-hmm.
and you just see Obi-Wan floating. You have the fire between them, and then you just see Darth Vader say "burn." Basically, you're gonna suffer like I
Yeah,
did, Obi-Wan, and
yeah,
just starts basically smushing his face into the fire. Obi-Wan sitting there just burning, and it's so they like relish in the pain for a minute there, man. They just let you sit and watch Obi-Wan cry. You watch the flames on Darth Vader, like you know
yeah,
he's enjoying it, but it's just hatred, man. Just hatred
yeah,
bubbling over. I would love to see Obi-Wan see Anakin's face all like destroyed and pale,
yeah.
burned, you know.
The show will actually fall to a 0 out of 10 if we don't get a recreation in some capacity of the iconic panel. You're surrounded, and then Vader says, all I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men.
I'm ready to see like Obi-Wan's turn into more of the Obi-Wan we know. We've had
100%.
the first 3 episodes to kind of like get everything jump started. Now you have 3 episodes to send it home. I think you have plenty of time left to really make this last half of the show just some of the best Star Wars we've ever seen. For this episode, solely based on Vader, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 because I am a fanboy and I suck.
I am what you made me. Makes it a 20 out of 10 for me off rip. You actually could have just dropped a YouTube short of him saying that, and I'd be like, all right, sweet. See you guys next week.
I think next week has a lot to look forward to. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss those. Turn those alerts on so you don't miss any more videos. And you want to join that 1,000 subscriber giveaway to win a next gen console. On Friday, we're going to be covering season 3's premiere of The Boys as well. So make sure you tune into that. And until then, guys, peace.